A little old house was out, with a little new shed. In front, at the edge of the road, where the traffic sped, a roadside stand, too pathetically pled. It would not be fair to say, for a dole of bread, but for some of the money, the cash, whose flow supports the flower of cities, from sinking and withering faint.
There is a little old house, at the side of a road. The local people there have built a new shed, not for a dole of bread. Means, they've not built the shed for begging, but to sell things. What things? I don't know. They are selling the things, for some money, whose flow supports the flower of cities. What does this mean? Flower, here means prosperity. They expect the money, whose flow supports the prosperity of the cities, from sinking and withering. Withering means fading. Flow of the money, which makes city life luxury, and saves the flower, from sinking and fainting.
The polished traffic passed with a mind ahead, or if ever, aside a moment, then out of sorts, at having the landscape marred, with the artless paint of signs, that with and turned wrong, and as turned wrong, offered for sale wild berries, in wooden quarts.
The polished traffic means the rich people of the city who pass the stand. The polished traffic passed with a mind ahead. Means they don't stop to see the roadside stand. Their mind is on the destination. But if ever they stop there, at the roadside stand, they go out of sorts. Means they become irritated. They think that the poor people have spoilt the beauty of the landscape with such an artless paint. The roadside stand, the shed, the interior, was artless, spoiling the landscape of signs that with N turned wrong, and S turned wrong. What are N and S here? The roadside stand had painted north and south directions, but both are placed wrong. The stand offered wild berries in wooden quarts. Wild berry is a species of berries, but smaller. It's put in wooden quarts, that is, containers. The rich people ignore it.
Or crook-necked golden squash with silver warts, or beauty rest in a beautiful mountain scene. You have the money, but if you want to be mean, why keep your money this crossly, and go along?
The roadside stand also sold golden squash fruits. But the fruits are crook-necked, and with silver warts. Silver warts grow up on the fruit's skin. The words, crook-necked, and silver warts, show the bad quality of the golden squash they sold. Or beauty rest, in a beautiful mountain scene. Means, they also sell the paintings they made. So now, we know three things they sold. Wild berries in wooden quarts, crook-necked golden squash with silver warts, and the paintings. The rich people have the money, but they want to be mean. But when the city people show anger, this makes the poor people angry.
You have the money, but if want to be mean, why keep your money this crossly? Go along.
To hurt the scene wouldn't be my complaint, so much as the trusting sorrow of what is unsaid.
Here, far from the city, we make our roadside stand, and lust for some money to feel in hand, to try if it will not make our being expand, and give us a life of the moving picture's promise, that the party in power is said to be keeping from us.
The poet doesn't complain that the roadside stand hurts the beautiful scenery, but he complains about the unsaid sorrow of the poor. Rich people, on the contrary, complain about the hurt to the scenery, and they don't see the sorrow of the poor people. But what is that unsaid sorrow? The poor people make the roadside stand, far away from the city, on the road, in hope of feeling money in their hands. They hope that some city dwellers will give them money, with which they could expand their work, and thus, give them life of the moving picture's promise. The moving pictures, that is, movies etc. show, that if one works hard, he can become rich. But this is far from reality. They hope the city dwellers will give them a better life, which parties in power have failed to do. The party in power seem to help the poor people, but actually, all the money goes to the corrupted hands. and the poor people are deprived of it.
It is in the news that all these pitiful kin are to be bought out and mercifully gathered in to live in villages next to the theater and the store, where they won't have to think for themselves anymore, while greedy good doers, beneficent beasts of prey, swarm over their lives, enforcing benefits that are calculated to soothe them out of their wits. And by teaching them how to sleep, they sleep all day, destroying their sleeping at night, the ancient way.
The poet heard the news that these pitiful kin means relatives. These poor families are to be bought out from there, to mercifully, that is, kindly settled, given jobs, to live in villages, next to the theater and the store. Near the theater and the store. This will make the people aimless wanderers, who only watch movies at the theaters, and eat at the stores. Do you think this news will ever come true? No, as always. But the greedy good doers swarm over their lives, enforcing benefits. The poet considers the greedy good doers as beneficent beasts of prey. Just like the beasts, that is, animals, swarm over their prey, these businessmen exploit the people for their own benefits that are calculated to soothe them out of their wits. Means, the people's lives are planned to be frightened, and by teaching them how to sleep, they sleep all day. Means, they convince the poor people by making fake promises, so that they'll sleep. But they themselves sleep all day, and they destroy their sleeps, the ancient way, by exploiting them.
Sometimes I feel, myself, I can hardly bear the thought of so much childish longing in vain, that sadness that lurks near the open window there, that waits all day in almost open prayer. For the squeal of brakes, the sound of stopping car, of all the thousand selfish cars that pass, just one to inquire what a farmer's prices are. And one did stop. But only to plow up grass, in using the yard to back and turn around. And another, to ask the way to where it was bound. And another, to ask could they sell it a gallon of gas. They couldn't, this crossly. They had none, didn't it see?
The poet cannot bear to see the childish desire that someone might buy things from them. Their sadness lurks, that is, lies unseen, near the open window. That waits all day in praying for the squeal, that is noise of the brakes, and the sound of a car stopping. Of all the thousand selfish cars pass, they pray that just one would stop and ask about the prices. And one car did stop. But it stopped just to use the yard to turn back. It plowed up the grass of the yard. The second car stopped to ask the way to where it was to go. And the third car stopped to ask for a gallon of gas. Because there was no gas station near. They were so ignorant that they couldn't see that the stand was not selling gas.
No, in country money, the country scale of gain, the requisite lift of spirit, has never been found, or so the voice of the country seems to complain. I can't help the great relief it would be to put these people at one stroke out of their pain. And next day, as I come back into the sane, I wonder how I should like you to come to me and offer to put me gently out of my pain.
Countryside means rural area. The poet says that the level of gain of the countryside has never been able to lift the spirits of the people. And this is what the people complain about their poverty. The poet says he will feel a great relief if all these people are put out of pain in one stroke. What does this mean? The poet is of the opinion that these people should be killed at once, so that they'll not have to feel the pain anymore. But this is an unrealistic and inhumane idea. So next day, when the poet comes into the sane, means when the poet becomes sensible. He wants that he himself should be killed, as he can't bear to see their pain.
And remember, my name is Robert Frost. I've written many poems, and one of them is A Roadside Stand.